It basically is a way to sell a property, especially investment properties, and defer the tax. So how does it work? Welcome back to our channel, Living on the Ohio River. Hi, I'm Kara Hinshaw with Key Associates Signature Realty. And if you're new to our channel, make sure you tap that subscribe button. I'm doing videos once a week and wouldn't want you to miss it. And if you've been watching, thank you. Give me a thumbs up, appreciate the feedback, and it also helps the algorithm. As you know, I'm a local real estate agent, and as much as I love to do these videos, I do love to sell real estate. So reach out, call, text, email me, whatever it takes. I'd be happy to assist you if you're looking in Southern Indiana or Northern Kentucky. We also have a relocation guide. So click the link below if you'd like some more information on the area. The topic today is 1031 exchanges in Indiana or Kentucky. I am personally going through a 1031, so I thought it'd be a great topic to explain for the people that are not aware of them, but also for the people that are looking in Indiana, Kentucky. I can maybe be able to assist you on places to look and just kind of similar properties that I'm looking at as well. A 1031 exchange, also known as a like-kind exchange. You might have seen it maybe if you're at the closing table and you're selling a home. A lot of people get a tax form at the end of the closing and have no idea what that question even means. So I'm gonna explain it today. It basically is a way to sell a property, especially investment properties, and defer the tax into another property so you don't have to pay capital gains. So what you're basically doing is you can sell a property and then basically defer the tax into another property that you're buying that's of like kind. That doesn't mean it has to be the same quality or condition like kind. This is more like maybe commercial, multiplex, apartment complexes. Whatever it may be, it's a way to defer the tax at the sale and put it into another property so that you're not losing money on the taxes to the federal government. So how does it work? Usually when you sell a property, and especially when it's an investment, taxes are due to the federal government at closing for those investments because it is not your personal residence, so you will have to pay taxes on it. The way that the 1031 works is you actually take all the proceeds that you got from your actual sale of the property and you roll it into a new property, and it could be the same value or greater, and it allows you to defer that tax so that you do not have to pay it right now. It would only be paid if you sold these properties in the future. This allows you to keep the equity in the properties and not lose out with the taxes that are owed, and it allows you to keep reinvesting and maybe even getting bigger in your investments. What are the benefits of a tax 31 exchange? Well, the first is obviously taxes. You're gonna save on taxes and defer that tax more into the future in the properties that you're buying. You will never have to pay that tax unless you actually sell it and not do another 1031 exchange. And that's when you'll actually keep the money in your pocket in equity as you keep rolling the property. So you might start with a small duplex, for example, and over time it gains value and equity and roll it potentially 20 to 30 years later into an apartment complex. So it's definitely a strategy to start when you're young potentially, but not even young. You can roll things where you make money and not pay the taxes and keep it in your pocket. The second thing is it does increase buying power, kind of what I mentioned. You can start with a duplex and eventually get to apartment complex by keep rolling the money into different type of properties that may give you more rent or returns from your original investment. Another reason people might want to do it is portfolio diversification. Let's say that you don't want a duplex anymore, but you do want to eventually get to an apartment complex. You might sell, for example, 4 duplexes, and you can take all 4 duplexes and roll them into one property that is like an apartment complex. So it allows people to kind of change what they're investing in and actually put it in something more of what they're looking at as a goal for their investment portfolio. Fourth is wealth accumulation is another benefit. Over time, as you continue to do 1031s, you will accumulate equity, which will build wealth for you and your family. There are a few rules you have to follow, however, when you do a 1031 exchange. When you sell the property, you cannot actually take any of the proceeds from that closing. There has to be a third party involved that actually takes the proceeds, puts it in their escrow account, and holds the funds until you identify the properties that you're going to roll it into. Once you close, you have 45 days to identify the properties that you potentially may be purchasing to make this roll from the existing property that you sold. After that, you have 180 days to actually close on the properties. If you do not follow this process or this timeline, when that time comes, you will actually take the money back and get taxed as normal according to your federal government tax status as capital gains. So it is important that you follow those timelines. You do have timelines once you close that you have to follow and you have to meet. Like I said, I am currently doing a 1031 exchange, and because I'm from Indiana and Kentucky area, I obviously want to go look at other states just to see what they have for options for me. But I can tell you right now, if you are looking in Indiana and Kentucky, we have some of the best deals. Like, I do want to invest in other states, but honestly, it may be that I end up keeping my money in these states because my returns are better for the value of what I'm investing in it. So I'm going to give you a few little examples of just some here in Indiana that I've been looking at just as options, and it also gives you an idea of what's out there. So I looked in the area of southern Indiana, and there is 3 MLSs, just so you know, 4 that I try to dig into. There's so many MLSs, so I didn't want to just cover all of Indiana and Kentucky because it can get difficult, but I did look at 1 in Kentucky and 2 in southern Indiana and northern area a little bit, just to get an idea of what's out there. So I looked in Boonville, for example, and there is a 10-unit complex with returns of about $77,000 in rent at roughly $650,000. So it is an option if you're looking for something that is maybe not a huge apartment complex, but definitely has some units and a little bit more rent to it. One thing that I did look when I was looking at Evansville, which is great about a 1031, is you can also find just individual homes. I think when I looked in the Southeast MLS, there was almost 20 homes that you can look up as investments. They're currently rented, they're for sale, so you're already having rental income coming in because they're already rented. But 20 homes, roughly ranging from $12,000 to $18,000 in rent a year. So those are options as well. So if you're not looking for a multi-unit, there's a lot of single family out there if you are looking. A lot of people also have package deals. I was looking in the Gibson County area, and there was a package deal of, I think, 4 homes. Well, and some of them are duplexes, I should say 4 units. I don't know exactly what the units were. It might have been 16 total when you added them all up. But they were roughly about $105,000 a year in rents. So that's a package deal. That's an investor that's probably getting out, have 4 or 5 different units, or I should say structures, could be more units because they're duplexes or triplexes, and they want to sell them all at the same time. So that's another option to look at, is package deals that are out there. So looking at Gibson County, looks like a lot of them are in Port Branch. In Hopstadt, this is all near the Toyota plant, which is a good area in regards to a lot of employment, so a lot of people may be renting. So that was a good option if you're looking at something in our area in southern Indiana. And we will obviously show these as I'm talking. Another place I looked was I went over by New Albany area near Louisville. Here I found that you could actually buy new duplexes, and it looks like there's potentially maybe 4 or 5 new construction duplexes for sale at $204,900. And they didn't actually state rents on them, but I would guess you're talking maybe per unit $1,500 to $2,000 a unit near that area in New Albany. So that's an option. If you want new construction, less maintenance, completely different than some of the other different investments that I brought up, could be an option for you as well, which is some people like, because you don't have to worry about roofs and heating and air, especially when it's a rental and you're a new investor. So you could maybe buy 1 of them, or you could buy 4 of them. It just depends on what you're looking for. There's a lot of options. Another place I found was in New Albany area as well, and it was downtown New Albany. If you've never been to New Albany, cute as a button in regards to the city. This one was a duplex. It was listed for $314,900. What I like about this one is potentially if you are into short-term rentals, you could possibly do short-term rentals in this because it's near their downtown area. You could also do long-term rentals. Not that you can't do that either. You can maybe do long-term in one, short-term in another, but it allows you potentially to make more money because of the short-term rental aspect of it. And a lot of these could be short-term rentals, don't get me wrong, but this one, because of its location, I felt like scream short-term rental potentially. If you are looking at short-term rentals in all of these areas, make sure you check with the towns. A lot of rules have come down on what towns allow and where for short-term rentals. So that is another option. I then went to Bloomington because I do have a son at Indiana University. So I thought, why not look there? Plus, a college town is always a great investment when you're looking at rentals. This one, I actually thought, what I like about Bloomington is you can buy houses and you can go all the way up to apartment complexes. So this one is a really big one, but still I'm gonna show you different options. I don't know who's watching this, what kind of investments you're looking at, but there was a mixed unit, which I thought was interesting, with 8 luxury apartments on the 2nd and 3rd floor, and then there was mixed use building on below, and it was listed for $3.5 million, roughly about $220,000 a year in rent. Obviously it's a higher price tag. This is for someone that's rolling their money into something that needs a little bit more, but your rent is obviously returned better as well. I also looked at another apartment complex, which was 21 units that was in Bloomington. What was interesting about this is because of the units, it was actually $2.8 million with $272,000 rent that you get per year in gross. And this was actually near the campus. So if you're near the Kelly School of Business, like I said, students would be renting from you here potentially, maybe even professors, because this looks like a nice building. I haven't seen it in person, but it is another option if you're looking more for that apartment complex vibe. But another great thing, like I said, about Bloomington, they have a lot of homes too, and there's a lot of students that rent there. So I looked, there's a good variety. I have one that gross rents around $45,000 a year, listed at $621,000 roughly. Another one listed, see there's all kinds of ranges, $227,000. That one actually didn't have rent on it, so I can't tell you. They didn't put it in the MLS. I think that's all I got for Bloomington. But there is a lot of houses. I just was looking at, I think there was probably about 10 homes listed in Bloomington that were just individual homes that actually could hold 4 to 5 people. So those are options as well. You don't have to go apartment complexes. You can go individual homes. There's also duplexes, all kinds of options out there for Bloomington. So Bloomington is definitely a good area. Another place to look is West Lafayette and Purdue as well because of the schools. Honestly, there wasn't a whole lot in West Lafayette. I did take a look and I could not find anything. They did have stuff in the Lafayette area, which is more the town, but it is an option to look if you're looking at university towns and you like that scenario. I headed up to Indinapolis. I just pulled one. I was just curious because my husband is from Indinapolis, so we would obviously look at Indinapolis. There was one that was listed. It looked like it had been refurbished. It was 1921, but completely remodeled. It was a duplex. Going in the growing area, if you go like the northeast kind of Indianapolis coming out of the downtown, it was listed for $629,000, and it was roughly, again, 2-bedroom, 2 baths on each side of this duplex. Super nice, super remodeled, and it was roughly about 3,000 square feet. So that might be an option, looking for some duplex that's in a growing area of Indianapolis. Potentially could be a VRBO again, or short-term rental, or just a long-term rental for both sides. Or you can maybe even live in one side and rent the other. So lots of options there. Like I said, I went to Evansville and I brought this up. There were 20 just individual homes listed with all kinds of rents. Here's one I just pulled just to give you an idea that you can find something for $159,000 in Evansville. The rent that you will get per year is $26,000. That's a good return when you're just looking at one home. You're not having to go in the millions. You can make good rent. And I just wanted to highlight that there's so many options in Evansville if you are looking in this area. for something that's not as expensive but still has good returns. I kind of covered more of the southern Indiana. I did look at northern Kentucky. Honestly, there was not a whole lot. I didn't go into the Louisville area, which I'm sure there was some stuff, but there was a few things in Owensboro, but not a whole lot in Henderson. So most of the options that I found that were listed were more southern Indiana, and I kind of went up to the Indinapolis area. So if you're looking to do a 1031 in Indiana, I'd be happy to help you. I can help you with all through the state of Indiana to identify an agent, maybe if it's northern Indiana. But definitely I am looking at Indianapolis down south to the Kentucky border and the northern Kentucky side. So I'm becoming very familiar because I'm doing it as we speak. Personally, I would be happy to help you. If you need to reinvest money from a 1031 exchange, or you're just looking for an investment, give me a call. I'd be happy to help you invest that money in Indiana, Kentucky. So if you have any questions, just reach out. You can reach me at 812-686-3268. And until next time, I'll see you then.
We open doors in realty. Key Associates. Key Associates.